Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis, Pulse 95.
Yes, you can join the conversation. We're going to be talking about what's happening right now between Russia and Ukraine because just yesterday, in fact, the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, has confirmed a partial drawdown of the Russian forces who are or at the near the Ukrainian border. That's in a step that could actually begin a de-escalation of tensions that has left Western officials skeptical that the Kremlin has ruled out an attack in the near future. Now, let's look at the size of this withdrawal. It remains unclear, but it may involve only a fraction of Russia's forces at the border, which Western officials estimate at more than 130,000 troops. That's at least 60% of the country's ground forces to begin with. Western officials, they said that there were actually no immediate signs of a Russian drawdown. NATO Secretary General did say that so far we have not seen any de-escalation on the ground from the Russian side. Over the last weeks and days, actually, we have seen the opposite. Security officials said that they had seen reinforcements of combat and other capabilities close to the Ukraine border. But Russia has always denied planning to invade Ukraine. It says that it can exercise troops on its own territory as it sees fit. That's it. That's all it confirms. But it has been pressing for a set of security guarantees from the West, including a guarantee that Ukraine will never join NATO. And that's the whole problem here. Now, when asked for the reason for the drawdown yesterday, Putin was not forthcoming. But he did say in a response to a question during a press conference with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, he did say that it's a partial withdrawal of troops from the areas of our exercises. So what is there to comment on? That's what he said.
Right, and then we have the U.S. President Joe Biden White House address taking place. He's reacted to Moscow's announcement that Russia had begun to leave the Ukrainian border following those military exercises, saying that the United States has not verified the information. And the big takeaway, as well as the United States, is continued to state that they're not ruling out the potential for an invasion, saying, in fact, that some 150,000 Russian troops continue, quote, encircling Ukraine. Now, this is something that Russia has been denying, the notion of an invasion. They say they don't harbor any attack plans, and they are pointing the finger at NATO. They are saying they're escalating the situation and endangering Europe's security. Now, another takeaway from the speech of U.S. President Joe Biden, he said that in his latest conversation with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, he said both world leaders agreed to continue to keep pursuing high-level diplomacy. So he stressed a diplomatic solution. He did discuss the prospect of war further, saying that if Russia attacks Ukraine, it would be a war of choice or a war without cause or reason. I say these things not to provoke, but to speak the truth, because the truth matters. Accountability matters. He's also admitted further sanctions on Russia in the case of military aggression would mean economic consequences at home in the United States. He said it could lead to rising energy prices, at a crisis that Americans have been dealing with on an ongoing basis since last year. Biden also said he's working with energy producers and suppliers on contingency plans should Russia invade Ukraine as well.
Yeah, I think it's a very tricky situation because we would like to get people who have a better grasp of the situation on the front lines in Ukraine to have a say in the matter, because, you know, when we look at the press, and of course we rely quite a lot on Western press, where there is a rhetoric that there are tensions arising, but apparently the situation in Ukraine is not of panic, but rather feeling betrayed by the West with their embassies shutting down or the junior staff fleeing the country. They believe that even the expats in Ukraine, there's quite a lot of them apparently, in the eastern parts of Kiev, where they're staying put. They're not too terrified of it. They're saying that the war hype is being launched and created by the West. We don't fear an invasion. This is an everyday situation. We're just used to it, and that's what the rhetoric is. And to an extent, there have been images circulating of a 79-year-old grandmother training with weapons. Now, there's two aspects to it. One side of the argument says that the Ukrainian army has been allowing licenses being issued to the civilians. Then there is the other side of the argument that says a neo-Nazi group had orchestrated that photo opportunity and circulated it in international media as well. So you just don't understand what the ground reality might be. So if you hail from Ukraine or are linked to that country for whatever reason, it might be a frequent visitor as well, get involved in the discussions on the text lines 4215 because I just ventured off to Kiev Post to see what they have to say about the situation. And there's an op-ed that says Russia started a war with Ukraine 8 years ago and will escalate in some manner. War is not coming. War is already here. Ukrainians are preparing for more, but not panicking, since panic leads to weakness, and that's exactly what the Russian president would want. And they said, in terms of conflict, most of the wars of the First World War and the Second World War were fought on Ukrainian soil. So that's why there's a bit of a rhetoric in terms of that they're not really panicking, and the panic it might be viewed on the Western press. So we don't understand what's really going on. So if you are one of those that's well acquainted with the situation, drop us a text on 4215. I'd love to get your thoughts on the air. But the biggest thing is, we hope there is no conflict and talks continue. We've got the business headlines lined up for you up next. And after that is going to be another story that doesn't tend to die because it's there. Djokovic is back in the headlines.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis.
It's the Morning Majlis.
Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Good morning, Sharjah and the United Arab Emirates. Welcome back onto the Morning Majlis. This is going to be our Sharjah Hour, looking at some of the biggest developments and stories that you should be aware of when we talk about the Emirates of Sharjah. And of course, one thing that we're really counting down to is the opening of the Sharjah Safari Park, which is scheduled for tomorrow. And Pulse 95 Radio is going to bring you live coverage of the opening. So stay with us throughout the show tomorrow. I'll be down at the Sharjah Safari Park, bringing you updates in terms of the excitement, expectations, what to look forward to from the opening of the park. So it's going to be a fantastic occasion indeed. But the biggest story today that we're going to be talking to you about is the lifting of capacity restrictions in the Emirate of Sharjah.
We're very excited about that because Sharjah, they're easing restrictions as new rules, they go into effect. And so we're going to be talking about all the approvals of raising maximum capacity, let's say at wedding parties, at funerals, God forbid, and also at cinemas and so many other activities as well. So we're going to be giving you all the activities that Sharjah actually has decided to ease restrictions at. And also we're going to be talking about all the events that are coming up and all the new exciting openings, as you just said, the Safari Park. We're very excited about that. It's going to be magnificent. It's going to be big. I've actually had a sneak peek at the Safari Park. I got pictures sent over to me from there. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. It's something that it's going to be big. I'm thinking that it's going to be the tourist attraction of the UAE. The next one, the next big one for sure. And it's huge, by the way. And I actually went to Kenya last year, and it doesn't look that different from the safari over there, the original safari, in Africa.
Exactly, yeah.
So when I looked and I compared, I said, it doesn't look that different. So you're going to get the full experience, I'm pretty sure. I'm really excited for that. But we are also celebrating the Innovation Month here in Sharjah. So we're going to be talking more about that and the activities that kicked off starting Monday at the Sharjah University's Men College with the participation of a number of government and private institutions as well as students to highlight the latest innovations developed in Sharjah and the UAE as a whole. So all things Innovation Month activities we're going to be discussing as well later on this hour.
As well as the latest Sharjah Executive Council meeting as well. All the developments taking place here in Sharjah for the benefit of citizens and residents alike. We'll give you the lowdown on that and so much more. As always, we'd love to hear from you on the program. Our text lines are open at 4215. Drop by, say hello, and stay tuned as we continue the discussions. Here's Middle by DJ Snake.
If you liked this episode of The Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.